I'm on my walk pad in my living room. I got Bella to my right. You can't see her, but she's right there. And I'm getting some steps in. Just got back from the studio not too long ago. Just got off a phone call with my mama, and that was a good chat. Grateful to have a mom. Grateful to have parents still in my life. But I wanted to take a moment to make a video about my fitness journey right now and just chat through it for two reasons. One, to maybe give you some insight on how to achieve your fitness goals. But secondly, so I can get more clear on where I'm going as well. Right now I'm doing steps. My goal right now is to get 15,000 steps a day. And this is part of a challenge that was put together by a client of mine, a few of his friends in business, and a couple of my clients. The challenge consists of 15,000 steps a day, 7 hours of sleep, no alcohol, what else? 150 push-ups a day, 125 crunches, 6 minutes of planks. Anyways, there's 10 metrics, and it's a checklist each day. There's points assigned to each of these goals, and it's really just, did you hit it? Now, excuse me. At the end of this competition, because we all got DEXA scans before we started, at the end of this competition, we're all going to get a second DEXA scan, and there's another grouping of points that will get allotted based off of how much body fat you lost. So, to get the full 2,000 points, which I plan on getting, you need to lose 30% of your total body fat. So for me right now, I'm 13% body fat via DEXA scan, which means I'll have to get to around, I want to get to 8%, which would be the lowest I've ever been on DEXA. I've taken the in-bodies before and they've told me I'm like 4%. The in-body scan is whack. If you use the in-body scan, don't trust it. Anyways, I got this competition going on. Also, we're all putting in $500. So the winner, I think there's 8 of us. The winner will get $500. If all 8 ante up, that's $4,000. I'll take that. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm on the journey right now to get to single-digit body fat. Now, my last Natural Pro bodybuilding show was in November. And since November, I've been working on reverse dieting, getting myself back to a healthy state, a strong state, a state where my hormones and my internal health and my energy is all on point. And I'm the strongest I've ever been. I have the most muscle I've ever had, and I'm the leanest I've ever been at this weight. So all good things there. But man, we got to get to single digits. So I've been in a reverse diet 4 or 5 months. And you always forget this, right? You always forget how challenging it is to shift gears. So from going from cutting to then being in a reverse diet, there's a few weeks where your body's getting on board with that process. When you go from being in a reverse diet or a bulk, some people might call it that, to then starting to cut, there's a whole physiological shift where your body has to go from growing and being in a surplus to then being in a deficit and using fat as fuel. Your mind, your body, every part of you fights this process. And that's something that people miss when it comes to getting in shape. The reason it doesn't feel easy is because your body wants to be comfortable, it wants to be at homeostasis. So when you get those uncomfortable feelings inside, when you start to feel bad for yourself, when you feel hunger, the instinct of your body, it might not even be a conscious thought, is to grab food, right? And when you're cutting, you have to learn how to not give in to that impulse. You have to learn how to view that physiological response of your body being hungry as the reward that you're doing the right thing. You're disciplined enough to say no. and to not grab the food and grab the bag of chips just because you're hungry, right? So, man, it's going to be a fun journey though. I know we can do it. But it begs the question, right? It begs the question. I wasn't planning on competing this year at all. But I will be in competition shape if I get to 8% body fat. As a matter of fact, I'll be the leanest I've ever been. So I'll be leaner than I've ever been even in competition. So do I hop into a show or not? Okay, shifting from fitness stuff to business stuff. When you start a business, there's a lot of people who will tell you to find your niche. And I detested that early on in business. I hated that idea. I was like, no, I want to work with the mom. I want to work with the dad. I want to work with the homeless person. I want to work with the CEO. I want to work with the sales rep. I want to work with the high school kid. I wanted to work with everybody. And early on, I'm glad I did that. I'm really glad I worked with everybody. But as time has gone on, my niche has found me. As Limitless has grown, and as my time and energy has become more valuable, I've had to make sure that I'm only aligning with people who I know are going to be a good fit. Now, when I say my niche has found me, we found the people through data and through experience over the last 10 years who have been successful and got results versus those who have been nightmares to work with, or just those who come in and they're really short-term viewed and they struggle and then they waver and then you never hear from them. And we found a way to avoid those people and work only with those who are going to be successful. And a lot of that's gone into how we design and how we market now. Even the way that I have conversations with people who inquire about training, it's very easy for me to spot somebody who won't be successful in the program now. And we found that those who have been successful and those who have gotten amazing results, they have a few attributes that they possess that really stand out. The first thing is that they're typically successful in their life. So they're typically an entrepreneur or business owner, an executive of some sort, or higher up in sales, higher up in the corporate world. Those people who are very busy, but also successful, tend to do really well at Limitless, whether it's online or in person. Additionally, they're action takers. They want to see something change in their life. They want to get fit. They want to be the best versions of themselves. And so they're not just somebody who likes the idea of working out and learning how to lift. They want the work that they're putting in to lead to a result. And they're going to take action relentlessly towards that. Those are some fun people to work with. You know, the other thing is, we found that our best clients, they're referral machines. Because they're well connected, because they're diligent, when they come in and they change their life, they want to tell everybody around them what worked for them. So our business has been able to grow organically, just based off of people who we're friends with, who we train, who've gotten results, and then them telling people who they know would be a good fit for the program. It's kept things tight-knit. You know, in fitness, when I got into the fitness business, there's a lot of people who told me not to. They said, go become a doctor, go become a chiropractor, go become a physical therapist. There's no money in fitness. I didn't believe them, not for a second, because I had a vision. And I knew that if I did something I was passionate about and I became excellent at it, I could change lives. Not 10, not hundreds, not thousands. I could change millions of lives. I still believe that. I believe that at the core of who I am. Because I know that the mission and the vision that God has put in my life. Now, I'm also aware that things change quickly and that anything can happen. But I know that right now, He's put me in a position to have impact through fitness, through wellness, through nutrition. And so we're moving strong in it. So strong that my beautiful wife is going to be leaving her job and joining me full time which I couldn't be more grateful for. She's such a powerhouse when it comes to administration, when it comes to operations, when it comes to marketing. And those are 3 things I really struggle with. So having Taylor come to work with Limitless full time is going to allow us to grow massively. I want to put this out there. This is something that we really see for the business, and opportunities and doors are starting to open up. I truly believe that Limitless is going to become the premier coaching business for entrepreneurs and executives. I believe that wholeheartedly. And I believe that our path there is for us to look completely different from any other fitness business out there. I mean, you see fitness influencers online. It's a little bit different. The message is a little bit different. Limitless has become less about the fitness and the nutrition and the macros. We teach all that stuff. But it's been more about the identity. Because back to those people who we work with who transform, what they really do is they get clear on who they want to be. And then they align their lifestyle, habits, and behaviors towards the strongest version of themselves. Limitless is not just about fitness. It's about not settling in life. It's about becoming the strongest version of yourself, because that's what God has called you to do. Now, there's a good chance that someone on the other side of this camera right now has a vision of who they could become. And maybe that vision is really clear. But maybe for some of you it's foggy and you've suppressed it and you've let your failures, or I don't even want to call them failures, maybe you've let setbacks or certain circumstances in life prevent you from believing that that's for you to accomplish. And here's what I'm here to tell you. It's not. It's not. You can accomplish anything you set your mind to. You got to be less hard on yourself too. I'm ranting at this point. Do you realize that the greatest people in life weren't the hardest workers or the biggest grinders? They were the people who were the most surrendered to their purpose. You see, the work that's necessary to get you where you want to be, it becomes easy when you're aligned, when you're surrendered. God, use me. Work through me. Open up the right doors. Put me around the right people. And then when you pair that prayer and that intention with living a very intentional life, where you're putting yourself in the right rooms and you're putting yourself in the right opportunities, it's a combination effect. Your success grows the more you surrender. And that sounds like a counterintuitive idea, but it's something I've seen. I've seen it in the greats. I've seen it in my own life and in my own walk. Taylor's been seeing it. Another cool thing that's happening, end of August, I have a speaking engagement in St. Louis. So I'm going to go speak to this organization called EO, or Entrepreneurs Organization. And it's all business owners who own 7 to 9 figure businesses. Now, some of you out there are entrepreneurs, and you know that you'd sacrifice anything to grow your business. What I've found with a lot of the people I work with and a lot of entrepreneurs I interact with is that sometimes what they do sacrifice is their own health to grow that business. So they get to their 40s, 50s, and 60s, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm out of shape. My health is in shambles. I need to figure that out. Because when they say health is wealth, that's real. You can have a booming business. You could have a $100 million business. But if your health isn't there and you can't run it, you can't lead, you can't inspire people, you can't communicate and connect with your people, what good is that business? And so what we've seen with fitness is that when the leader transforms, the leader decides to get in the best shape of their life, that has the most radical impact on their organization, their executive team, and then from the top down. When the leader transforms, it inspires everyone around them to do the same. Anyways, I'm gonna stop yapping and I'm gonna get back to this cardio, but a little life update. I'm gonna show you guys Bella real quick. It's ridiculous. Look at that girl. Look at that life that she lives. Not bad.